Hi, this is Eve, author of Detox with Ease. I may be the only person on here doing videos who's recovered from chemical sensitivity. Had a very severe case. I could hardly leave the house for about 2 years because everything made me sick. Every chemical, to be in the car, the gas fumes bothered me. Forget getting in a taxi with those little air Christmas tree fresheners. I couldn't be around anyone's laundry detergent, anyone's perfume, anyone's deodorant, hairspray, and every other kind of chemical out there. So I make these videos to help you. I'm not a doctor, and these videos are all just off the top of my head. I don't really have time to edit them, so I'm super busy. And so I just want to share whatever information I have that might help you to get well. I was thinking about when I first got chemical sensitivity, like, you don't know what's going on. Luckily, I'm this amazing Googler, so I just Googled it and I found out pretty quick what it was, which was good because the sooner you can start getting well and getting the toxins out of your life, the better. So I was trying to remember, like, how it took me so long to understand what was making me sick. So mostly it was neurotoxins, and those are things that are breathed in through the nose, which go more directly to the brain, just like when you do cocaine, you know, that's why they do it in their nose, because it just goes right up in your brain and affects it a lot. And is also why we do aromatherapy, you know, the opposite. So, you know, when we inhale something beautiful and healthy, it's going right into our brain, it's changing our mood. We inhale toxins, it's going right in our brain and changing our mood for the worse, also hurting our lungs, and it's going right into our bloodstream. So I remember that took me a long time to figure out, you know, everything that was making me sick. Now it just seems like so easy because, you know, if you've been chemical sensitive for a while, you know pretty much everything. So it took me a while to figure out it was candles, and not just scented candles. Like, scented candles are unbearable, but even regular candles, you know, they're made from petroleum and they often have lead in the wicks. So if you go on the American Lung Association website, they recommend not to use candles. They're not healthy. Unless you get, you know, beeswax is actually really good for you. I think soy's okay if it's organic, because if it's not organic, it's going to have a lot of pesticides in it. And palm oil's good, but it's deforesting the habitat of the orangutan, so I don't use that. And there's tallow made from fats. I think that's okay if you feel all right about that. So candles, being in a car with gasoline, people's perfume. The reason I'm telling you this is so you can just start eliminating these from your life, because they will make you sick, and anything that's making you sick as a toxin is hurting your body. It's not like an allergy that's a temporary sneezing or whatever. No, you're actually doing damage to yourself. So if you have chemical sensitivity of any level, it's really to your best interest to start eliminating all of these toxins. One thing that was bad was also magazines and books, you know, this plastic and all this ink on the paper. I mean, forget a newspaper. That ink is like super toxic. And you can read my book. I believe it is not a non-toxic book, but it's pretty good. If you do get a book or things like that, a lot of people, including myself, you know, if you have a backyard or somewhere you can go put them, you air them out, you let them off gas for a while. Because when something's brand new, like, you know, each day it's getting less and less toxic. They say generally it takes 3 years for something to completely off gas. That's an average, because, I mean, some chemicals never disintegrate, and some chemicals disintegrate pretty fast. So, yeah, neurotoxins. My sister had a neurological incident, so I spent many months on the neurological ICU and other units, and I would always ask the doctors, do you know what a neurotoxin is? No, what's that? So I was like, oh, it's a toxin that's something toxic to the nervous system. So don't expect your doctor to help you unless, you know, maybe this is like a year from now and the doctors now understand what's going on out there. But I was, you know, my sister was trying to recover from a serious brain injury, and they're in the room, like, spraying all these cleaners and giving her Diet Coke, like everything that's bad for the brain. So it's up to us to educate ourselves and find out about these things. So plastic garbage bags, any kind of plastic is off-gassing toxins. It's made from petroleum and other sort of chemicals. So you want to get in your house and get rid of any kind of plastic you can. Now I use some plastics because I'm not chemically sensitive like that anymore. But back then, I did everything to clean out every part of my environment. I didn't use baggies anymore, Tupperware, nothing. I have a video, I do believe I have a video about that, how to not use plastics. Because besides hurting us, it's hurting the environment in a pretty serious way. So you'll be doing you a favor and the environment. Let's see, what else toxic? Look around the house. Well, Teflon is very toxic. Aluminum is very toxic. So if people are cooking in big aluminum pots or putting aluminum things in the oven, that off-gas, it was toxic. I used to wear hair extensions. Those things were so toxic. They had, they're not all the same toxic, but anything with a smell, any kind of smell that is not a natural smell is basically a neurotoxin. Some are worse than others. So that had a lot of formaldehyde in it. That's the one that affects a lot of people, is formaldehyde. But this keratin, I once had a keratin treatment that was really bad because it had formaldehyde, even though they say, oh, all natural keratin. No. So you have to become a sleuth, and so many things that say, like Alba Organics, that shampoo is so toxic. It used to be organic, but what happened was a lot of the organic companies get bought out by these big companies, and then they put toxins in them. And if it's certified organic, it has to be organic, but if it just has organics in the name, doesn't mean anything. I got very sick from some aromatherapy oils that were supposedly from a farm, and they made me really sick. And I called them up, I called up the place, and they said, I asked them, where was this made? And they said, oh, we got it from overseas. We don't know what's in it. So, there isn't really any kind of regulation on this kind of thing. So you're on your own. Let's see. Now they're putting like Febreze in everything. Like even I went to buy a vacuum cleaner the other day, and they have like a Febreze filter. So that's very toxic. You don't want any Febreze filter. You don't want any bags that have like, scent protection. Anything that says fresh scent, you do not want it. And any kind of plastics, inks, your shower curtain, those are known to be quite toxic. Just a lot. Oh, anything like carpeting that's, new, or say whatever you buy pretty much is toxic unless you go out of your way to buy the non-toxic thing. Say if you buy a bath mat, for your floor, if it's new, it's manufactured, it's full of toxins, and also in the shipping, they, spray with insecticides and anti fungal agents. They don't want to get mold in their products. And the same is true with clothes. They spray it with like anti-wrinkling chemicals, flame retardants, all kinds of chemicals in your clothes. So when you buy new clothes, make sure you wash them at least a couple, 2-3 times with baking soda and or vinegar to at least get out like the major bad stuff. Some clothes still might be bad, and if you're very sensitive, you might have to use organic cotton, which is what I did. I'm going to be putting a organic cotton clothes website. On my link on my website. Organic clothes are great. Once you start wearing them, it's so comfortable and feels good, Let's see, what other things are toxic that is generally not understood? Well, incense is very toxic, and like water is toxic. So water, when you're taking a shower or using the chlorine in the water, it's very neurotoxic. Like if you can smell the chlorine, it's toxic, and if you're sensitive, it can really hurt you and make you feel bad. So you can get filters for your showers, and try not to spend a lot of time around this chlorinated water. Like swimming pool, if you go swimming in a swimming pool, it's a lot of chlorine. It's very toxic. Like now it doesn't bother me anymore, and I'll do it, but I wouldn't do that every day, because actually they did a study that people who swim, especially in indoor pools, have problems with their lungs. So luckily there are non-toxic ways to clean swimming pools now. I think that's about it for today. I'm going to tell you some more stuff later. You can buy my book on my website. It's ebook, only $6.99. This is on Amazon, Detox with Ease. And it's a real simple, easy to read book that gives you an overview of how the body detoxifies and all the different areas of toxins that you can avoid and things that you can do to permanently get toxins out of your body. It's easy because there's no cleanses, no diets, nothing like that. You know, you do what you can to make your environment and your world like less toxic. So yeah, usually people think of toxins, they think of food with pesticides. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. When I got sick, I really pretty much ate organic food. So, you know, that's just one thing. If you're eating food like that, of course, you need to change, you know, and get all non-toxic food. But a lot of it's going to be in the environment. Let me try to think of something else. Like say in my apartment, I have a neighbor that smokes, and it actually comes in through the bottom of the door, you know, and gets into my apartment. Like, so I had to seal it off and then make sure if I open my door, I close it real quick, or make sure that I have my windows open so that I'm not, you know, getting her smoke in my place. That's it. I do consulting. I know I'm very good at troubleshooting and trying to figure out what it is that might be bothering you and all the different ways that you can heal. I completely healed. Like, I could wear perfume right now if I wanted to. I don't because I think it's kind of scary, but I could, you know, it doesn't actually hurt me. So, which is an amazing thing. If you're chemically sensitive, I know you probably can't even believe that would ever happen. And there's not a lot of people who have gotten well. And I think the reason is, one, you have to really believe you're going to get well, and you have to, if you believe, it really encourages you to keep looking and keep trying things. And it did take me quite a lot of work and quite a lot of information and a lot of changes. And now it just seems like it was nothing. You know, everything was so easy, and so many of those changes were great, amazing changes that made my life better in so many other ways. Not just chemical sensitivity, but when I recovered from that, I got rid of fatigue and depression and other things that I had before that I didn't really realize were part of that whole physiology of not being well, you know. So that's it. Watch my other videos, go on my website, hit like if you like this video, make a comment and share with your friends. Also, you can share this with your friends if they do not understand you, like, you know, just to start giving them like an idea. Look, there's other people that have this extreme sensitivity to these chemicals, and they are in all this stuff. Because most people don't understand at all. And if you're trying to live a life with chemical sensitivity, you're trying to always communicate to people about, you know, how you can't be around this. And generally, they have a really hard time understanding. Sometimes it's better to hear it from a third party, you know. And if they hear it from a few different sources after a while, they will you know, they'll start to believe it. Of course, I forgot to mention air freshener. Like, no chemical air freshener is going to be good for you. They're all toxic and all really damaging. And these things are all also damaging for healthy people. You know, they cause cancer, they cause nervous system disorders, you know, related to MS, Parkinson's, all these new illnesses we have. The toxins are a big part of it. So you can watch this video and you can like stop like having your house filled with magazines. It's because you're breathing in that air. It's not good. Maybe have one magazine, you know. You don't need a lot, you know, so you can start making your environment cleaner. And the less neurotoxins you have, actually, the happier you will be, because those toxins are really adversely affecting your nervous system. My website is www.detoxthebodymcs, as in multiple chemical sensitivity.com. Also have a daily yoga and meditation program, which was one of my major healing factors, on Skype, so you can stay in your house and do yoga with me. Check it out on my website. Bye-bye.